I surrendered.
Mm.
I gave up the fight. I stopped judging her when she made mistakes or she acted out. There were times I wanted to give up on her. You know that code, don't you? I'm like, I was ready to throw the towel in. And I don't know, something happened. I guess it was the more education I got on it, the more I changed. It was like, she has a voice.
Yeah. Welcome to What I Know Now, a podcast that uncovers the stories, experiences, and insights of individuals who have been impacted by the justice system. I'm Cole Williams.
And I'm Joel Van Kuiken. Our mission is to drive positive social change in the lives of system-impacted youth, their families, and our communities.
We sit down with incredible guests who generously share their lived experiences and the lessons they've learned along the way.
We're here with Devetta Blakely on the What I Know Now podcast.
Devetta, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me here today, you guys. I appreciate it.
So, Devetta, I want to talk a little bit about maybe how we met each other and how we started this journey as it relates to you being an amazing parent, but most importantly, being a parent involved in the juvenile justice system. So wondering if you want to tell people a little bit about yourself first and your family and how you arrived.
Okay. A little bit about me is I'm a native of Chicago. I was born, raised in Chicago, came here in 2007 to change my life because not only am I the perfect grandmother.
Hey, shout it out.
I'm in recovery from substance abuse. It's almost 17 years now.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I got here, didn't expect to get into raising grandkids, but that's how it was supposed to be for me. So that's what happened.
Okay.
And we got to know each other through Melissa, who was my granddaughter's probation officer. Yeah. And so my granddaughter was going through some things. I adopted her. Not only did I adopt her, to follow her was 2 more grandkids. And now me and my husband has his granddaughter, so we got 4 grandkids.
So you got a big house.
Yeah, big family.
We do. So I was under the impression that once I get my granddaughter, everything was going to be all right.
Yeah.
She's with grandma now.
Yeah.
She's going to be fine.
Yeah.
And she came with some trauma. And so I didn't know the first thing about helping her with her trauma. It was just like, I'm here now, get better.
Yeah.
Don't you see I'm here?
Yeah.
I didn't understand her pain. And so she was in a therapy. She had been in foster care for a while. I kept her in therapy, but it just wasn't for her.
Okay.
It was not the spinner slime kind of fix.
Yeah.
And so I felt like that's what they were trying to do with her, and it wasn't enough. And not only that, she didn't see her. And what I mean by that is not many African-American therapists here.
Okay.
But anyway, they did the best they could. And so with all that stress and everything I was going through, Melissa suggested Cole Williams to me. Say, hey, Devetta, I know a man. He's great. He supports parents, and he works with the judicial system at Juvie. And that's how we met.
Yeah.
I think this is like our second time meeting in person.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Because our relationship has been on Zoom.
It's been virtual.
Literally
for what, almost?
Telephone.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's grown.
Yeah.
So that's why we're here. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So when he asked me to come, I didn't hesitate.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's something special. I mean, going through the COVID period and meeting so many people virtually and on Zoom, that first time that you see them in person, it's like opening a gift in some ways.
Exactly.
When you really when you're in someone's presence. It's great to meet virtually.
Yeah.
But when you make that personal connection, it really means something.
It does.
And it makes me think about something you said that, you know, your granddaughter needed to be seen. You mentioned seeing her, And that's something we talk about a lot at the Delta Project. How do we become something we don't see? But how do we really see
Exactly.
the people that we're working with?
Right.
So how did people need to see your granddaughter, and how is that evolving? I mean, share your thoughts on seeing people, I guess.
Well, I want to say it was through trial and error.
Okay.
That my way of doing things to fix her was not working. And so my brother, who works with children in Chicago, asked me, have she ever had an IEP? And so what is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that?
And so I remember, well, she was getting suspended instead of being talked to.
Yeah.
It was more so more so of a why instead of a what happened. Like, why are you doing this? It wasn't asked what happened. In the schools, certain kids had an IEP and she didn't. And so that to me was something different. I had to learn about it. Well, okay, she has issues. She may need a little longer time to progress some stuff, some work.
Yeah.
Maybe she needs to take a time out, but don't suspend her because she's acting out in school. And that's what was happening. The difference between an IEP and a 504, I believe that is what it is that you get better farther with an IEP. 504 has its limits. So her IEP is based on her emotions.
Okay.
And so I had to learn that. And so there were people here, not just here in Grand Rapids, but in Chicago. I mean, that's sort of a place where it's a little more advanced in certain things when it comes to our kids. And I thank God for Melissa. She was her probation officer at the time, one of the best probation officers that really stretched out and took the time for my granddaughter. And not just that, I want to mention the police officers because she was a runaway. And there was one police officer, I can't remember his name, but he was really supportive of me finding her. And so there was a lot of trial and error things that I had to learn. And I felt like a failure. I didn't feel like I was doing what I was supposed to do as a grandparent. But going through Cole's support group for parents, because I met some interesting people on there. And not just that, it was people from the 12-step program that I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
My church members. Even the agency that she came from,
Yeah.
they started supporting me. So I had a lot of support and I had a lot of questions. And so, but one of the most important things is that I had to change myself. That's what it was. I felt like there were times, though, when I reached out for help, it wasn't there really until she got in trouble.
Yeah.
I see.
And that kind of just really was defeating the purpose. It was sort of like a hamster in a wheel.
Yeah.
It was just going around and around.
Yeah.
And wasn't anything getting done about it. And so, yeah.
I think one of the things you just said is really important because I hear it a lot from parents is that help didn't come until my child got in trouble, right? And when you found yourself in the juvenile justice system, did you understand the system itself beforehand, before you entered into it? Were there things that I hear you talk about, I started questioning, but what was it that you were questioning when you found yourself in this new system itself? Because you talked about the educational system, but what was it about the juvenile justice system that you really were trying to understand?
Basically, I was trying to understand what was it all about.
Yeah.
You know, instead of just punishing the kids.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that. It was, and let's keep in mind, this is my first time being a parent. So I'm learning too. You know how a Charlie Brown, the parents be womp, womp, womp,
Yeah.
womp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kids don't.
Yeah.
That was me listening to people talk. Womp, womp, womp. I didn't understand until I started asking for help and I started asking questions. Well, what is this? Well, why is this? Why is she on this medication?
Yeah.
Not just asking them how she feels about this medication.
Yeah.
What is this medication really doing for you? How does it make you feel? You know, or just like watching her throughout the day.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that later because she's 16 now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was dealing with this when she was 10. She was a runaway at 10. So we're going to get to that part. But those were the kind of questions I felt like my higher power put me in the direction of the right people. One of those people being David LeGrand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
give him his shout out, David LeGrand, calling him and asking questions. My pastor, Pastor Jack Corman, connected me with David LeGrand. So I could call him. He's the kind of guy that when you call him, he answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he get right back to you.
That's right.
And that's
And he
important.
tells me, okay, this is what you do, Devetta, you know? And I listen.
So go ahead, Joel.
Well, we may be thinking the same thing here, Cole, but that often happens. But I guess I just feel like you found yourself through your granddaughter.
That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like you started
You're
listening
going to make me cry.
and observing and having that empathy and the EQ and to really start to think deeply about the systems, the things that she's interacting with, and truly becoming an advocate for her.
Yes.
Which means you're becoming an advocate for yourself.
Exactly. I surrendered. I gave up the fight. I stopped judging her when she made mistakes or she acted out. There were times I wanted to give up on her. You know that code. I'm like, I was ready to throw the towel in. And I don't know, something happened. I guess it was the more education I got on it, the more I changed. It was like, she has a voice.
Yeah.
So I need to let her express her voice. Sometimes her voice is a little too, but she's gotten better.
Yeah.
And so, she has been through a lot, but she's been in the system. And for one, I used to say, okay, she's institutionalized, but she's turned that to a 360. Well, I want to say a 180 because she's not back there.
Yeah.
To where she's learned how to advocate for herself. So listen, I've gotten to the point now where she gets on the phone with her doctor herself
Oh, good.
and let her talk. How do I know what's wrong with her?
Yeah.
Like, how do I know what she's feeling or going through or thinking up here? So I had to move out the way and start letting her make those phone calls, talk to her doctor, her psych doctor, because she has a psych doctor. Let her talk. Well, found out that the 6 hours when she gets really bored, she don't want to go to 6 hours. So it's like she talked to the psych doctor, say, hey, during the 6 hour, I'm finding I'm not interested in school anymore for the day. Can you give me some as needed, blah, 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 to take for that? And so I'm listening to her do this. So a crisis can be a gift.
Yeah.
She's advocating for herself.
Devetta, I'm listening to you, right? And I'm thinking to myself, what I'm hearing you say is really revolutionary in terms of how we look at parenting, how we look at children. You even mentioned a word that we talk a great deal about, but sometimes it's really hard to practice and see. It's trauma. And in addition to that, you asked a really important question. The question that we're always asking kids is, why are you acting like that versus what happened to you?
Yep.
And so I'm really curious about how did you create that lens? How did you get out of your own way to be able to recognize the importance of asking that question, but most importantly, seeing the value in understanding trauma? Because I think that's something that that's a hard one.
You really want that answer?
Absolutely.
I looked at my childhood.
Okay.
That's what I did. I brought my childhood in. And so when I brought my childhood in, instead of just really talking about my childhood, when I go to the therapist and things like that, I didn't think about putting my childhood with hers. And so that's what I did. That's how I came up to the conclusion that I always wanted to be heard. And there was trauma going on in the house. And don't get me wrong, I love my mom. I love my mom, rest her soul. She did the best she could. But here I am, clean and sober. I got a different lens to look at stuff. And so when I put my childhood with her childhood, I began to heal the little girl in me. And that little girl in her was getting better. So that's what I had to do. I had to turn it around on myself.
And that's a hard thing
Yes,
to
it is.
do.
But it's necessary. It's doable. Right? So I had to do that. I had to just like fall back on some things. I had to listen at my way. Because Devetta, what happened when you was a little girl? Didn't you want to be heard? Isn't that why you did a lot of writing? You focused on school. Well, that part is not her story. She's acting out in the opposite way, but the bottom line is she want to be heard. Something happened to her. And so you got to be gentle. Use a feather, not a bat.
What?
You know what I mean? Like,
What?
woo. So
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to surrender. Like, man, this is not working. I had to use a different approach. And I think that really happened when she got physical with me.
Gotcha.
When she got physical with me and she was in detention for a while, Judge Feeney was telling me to go get her and I wouldn't go get her.
Yeah.
I think then is when she got out that last time, she was off probation and everything, and I told her, I said, listen, you'll be 16 soon. I can emancipate you to Job Corps. Because, you know, they get to why are you emancipating me?
Yeah.
Ooh, you know.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I walked to the car and she just cried. I had no idea that was going to be the turning point, but we had got some separation too. Yeah. Right? So in the midst of our separation, I was getting better. And so, okay, it's time to go get her now because fear kick in.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to go get her. And I feared that, but guess what? That was still my granddaughter. And I love her. She was the first one I got. And so Devetta, no, you're not done. She's not done. And I'm going to tell you guys, she's playing basketball now. She went to summer school and finished. She works at Culver's. She's playing basketball.
Yeah.
She still struggles with 6 hour.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, I've said what I had to say about 6 hour. I told her, I said, listen, when senior year get here and they getting ready for prom and things, you might want to think about that.
Yeah.
Because nobody's responsible for that but you.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that we talk about is responsibility and being accountable for. And are you taking your meds on time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I love about what you're sharing with us is just this notion of identity, that she is becoming who she is. You know, we all are doing that throughout our lives, but it's very poignant during our teenage years, trying to figure out who we are and how do we fit in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What role are we going to play in the community?
Yeah.
And there's no playbook for that per se. We really have to look inward. And I just love the fact that both of you are on this journey together. You're both coming to an understanding about identities and how we fit and how we all fit together. And I just think it's a really beautiful story.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing it.
I appreciate being here. And you know, yeah, we've been through some things, and it's some kids are not as fortunate as my granddaughter. I understand that. Yeah. And so that's why I reach out to mothers now, young mothers, because they need some guidance too. I didn't realize, okay, Devetta, you're going to be, they call you auntie and mama. These women call me mama. Like, what? That makes me feel good because now, you going through this with your child. Let me show you. And I'm like the age of their mom. So I'm helping 30-year-old moms, supporting them, and they're calling me. And we're getting together with Parent Cafe.
Yeah.
And I'm picking some of them up. They're calling me late at night crying. And I'm there to listen. So that's the crisis that can be a gift part.
Yeah.
Is that when I'm going through this and I've been through, because I'm telling you guys, I was like, what is going on? Like, this is not how this script supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. Right. But it was perfect script.
Damn.
It was meant for me.
So talk a little bit about Parent Cafe and Bethany and just how you found yourself in that work. And
So it all started with Denisa going through the youth program for job readiness.
Okay.
And it was at Transformations,
Okay.
located on 1500 Madison.
Okay.
It's over there. Transformations. So they were like, we're starting this Parent Cafe class for some of the parents of the kids that are going through our job readiness program. And they were prepping the kids for jobs. So I signed up for it. Why not? Signed up for it and began to like it. So it's actually a program where we get together. You could be a parent, a grandparent, a foster parent, an auntie, an uncle. It doesn't matter. Male, female. I love it because it's so diverse. So we get together, we talk about our issues, what's going on. We encourage each other, eat good food. And we come up with resources and ways that we can help each other get through some things. And it's a safe place. You're safe there. It's from 5 to 7.
Okay.
The third Thursday of every month.
Okay.
Veronica Cook is excellent.
Come on, Veronica.
Yes, Veronica. She started this platform and she brought some of us on to help her. And it's just been amazing. We had a big turnout last week of 16 people. It is amazing. I showed Cole, I sent Cole the video.
Yeah.
And so Bethany started this Parent Cafe and it's a hit. It really is. So I'm excited about that.
How long has it been happening? When did it start?
I
Is it recent?
want to say about 8 months ago.
8 months ago.
It's going
okay.
on a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's doing great. I think it's turned out to be better than a lot of people thought it was going to be, but it's really good. Really good program. And I did bring some flyers for
Okay. Yeah.
the people that might be interested in going. They do give out gift cards in case you need a babysitter because we don't have a daycare there. So.
Okay.
But it's really great.
Yeah. So I have a question for you. As I'm listening to you talk, I'm also thinking about what we often don't think about when it comes to parents is that how much support parents really need, especially parents who have children that have experienced trauma, but not even that, parents just in general. And so I'm just wondering, can you speak a little bit about why support is so imperative and important when navigating some of the challenges related to parenting? Can you speak to why it is imperative that parents communicate, that they share, that they tell people, that they open up about what they're feeling? Because we've been doing this work, and sometimes parents just don't say, "I need help." And so I wonder if you can just talk about why it's important for parents.
Did you hear me say that I finally reached out for help and said I did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you feel like you could do this on your own, and you're on the verge of a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
For real. You're on the verge of just saying, this is it. Looking at me, you wouldn't think I went through what I went through.
Yeah.
Crack cocaine, prostitution, all that, right? Until I opened my mouth. And so the importance of having this support is to let people know that they are not alone. That's, even with what I'm doing, like working, I'm a wife, a grandparent, I still have to take care of Devetta.
Yeah.
Even if I tell the ladies to take a nice bath, light a candle, go. I have a karaoke machine at home.
Oh, there you go.
Sometimes I come home and light it up,
Man.
and I'm singing. It's been a stressful day.
Yeah.
And I do that. And I think when we say support, we look at a real big picture when it's small. You don't have to have a lot of people in your life. I remember somebody telling me it's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You know, sometimes you just need that 1 or 2 people to tell you, hey, you're not alone. We got you.
Yeah.
And let's go to Parent Cafe. Let's go have a cup of coffee or something. Let's just go hang. It's very important. And I feel like women carry so much in our inner city.
Yeah.
They carry so much. And my brothers totally supported them because they go through a lot too. When my husband come home from work, I know he's been through a lot out there. You know, so it's very important that everybody get the support because we help people. I am a recovery coach for Cherry Health. So why is it so hard for me to ask for help for myself, but I help other people? It doesn't make sense.
No, not at all. Right?
It just doesn't. Devetta, so you got to get better with that.
Yeah.
I hope I answered your question.
No, you.
Oh, you did.
You totally answered it.
Because we really
Yeah.
do. We need
Yeah.
support. I don't care what it is, something small.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I learned a lot of that, I'm going to say this, through being connected with the 12-step program. I did.
Yeah.
That really helped me a lot to help save my life. Even now, it's like going through all this with my daughter, my granddaughter I went through, I didn't use. That's the main important thing. Just don't use, Devetta.
Yeah.
Just keep going, Devetta. I've never been this clean in my life. I'll have 17 years in March. No, nothing. Everything that I've been through. And I try to tell people they could do it too. I've lost my mom, my stepdad, some people very close to me. And I have not used. I felt like a failure, wanted to give up.
Yeah.
But I talked about it. I think
Man.
one of the most important things that we can do is stop trying to hold on to image.
Yeah.
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 Image will hurt you bad.
Yeah.
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 Listening to you talk, I mean, the other thing that I'm reminded of is that, our culture and our society, I mean, it's about productivity and work and making something of ourselves and push. We need to give ourselves time to do nothing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to let ourselves recover, to relax,
That's right.
to give ourselves that space to enjoy.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's not nose to the grindstone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we need to work hard, but we also need to relax.
That's right.
We need to get rest.
Yeah.
And we need to think holistically about, I guess, our health and just how we're showing up. Mm-hmm. And I just get the sense that you know how to show up now. Mm-hmm. You know how to become a beacon for other people who are looking to find the way. And you're helping them on that path. I mean, the fact that people are calling you late at night and they're looking to you for support because of what you've gone through and what you've experienced. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't think
You're
it's
doing
necessarily
great.
a question, but I see it in you. That's the way people need to show up in our community. Mm-hmm. And I guess, are there others in your circle that you're seeing that are making these kinds of moves, seeing themselves in the right way and showing up for others,
Oh, yeah.
making impact?
Yes, definitely. I just named a few
Yeah.
people that are doing that. David, he's
Yeah.
a busy man, but
Yes.
he calls me back or he answers his phone. Veronica Cook, my pastor, Melissa,
Yeah.
denies his I said her name.
Yeah.
Probation officer.
Yeah.
She reached out. I mean, it's so huge. And I'm not even going to mention some of my people in the fellowship, the 12-step program.
Right.
I got so much support from.
Yeah.
I couldn't have did it without them. So my family, back home in Chicago. My grandmother is 92. She's still here, live on her own, been here and everything. Great. I mean, my brother, I talked about him. He's, hey, you know about IEP? He taught me all that. I didn't know anything about that because Chicago is a lot more, advanced. I remember working with him in Chicago in the schools, and we were teaching kids in grammar school about HIV and AIDS in grammar school because it's going on.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I think that we talked about that, again, as I'm
and of course
Cole
Williams, of course.
Listen. I just want to say you're not only an advocate for others yourself, but we talked about this, about you becoming a model for your granddaughter to now advocate for herself. And I think what's important, to point out for parents or anybody that's watching this is that our children are watching us. They're watching us at home. Yeah. They're watching us in our community. They're watching us in their schools. They're watching us at our businesses. Right. They are watching. And so I just want to say to you that you have become not only a beacon of hope of other people that are now calling you mom and aunt, but I mean, for you to be grandma, starting out her being 10 and now she's moving into 16 and now she's 16. And she's advocating for herself. Yes. For her own mental health and well-being. Yes. I think we cannot, how do I want to say this? We cannot forget the important role that you play. Like that, what you are doing in our community and what you're doing at home is, again, a perfect example of what we're asking parents to do. Yeah. It's to advocate, to show up for themselves, to question what feels uncomfortable, to question the status quo, to question the system, and hold the system accountable.
That's right.
Hold them accountable. And I think I've seen you not only do that in the juvenile justice system, but I'm seeing you do that in the education system. I remember you in classes advocating and giving information out to families in crisis in our group. But also the thing that I won't forget that you constantly reminded me of today is the importance of removing ourselves from isolation.
Yep. Get out there and see. Because, one thing that it used to bother me when I was out there using, and this thought would come to me and say, you sitting up here getting high, it's people waiting on you. You're stumping people's growth because you're getting high. Like that would be in my mind. Like, what do I got to do? It's people need you, Devetta. Yeah. And the longer you be out here in this, the longer you stopping people from getting what they need. God want to use you, so I'm like, man. Yeah. And so now I see it's a lot. Wow. But it's all about giving back. It's all about service work. But at the same time, having a balance, because we can't forget about self. We're important. So, yeah.
And we see a lot of parents doing something. They pour into their children.
Yeah.
They give their all to their children.
Yeah.
And then they forget about themselves.
And that's we got to take care of it. We're needed. It's stuff to do, right? Yeah. So just take that time out to just do something for yourself. I'm going on a cruise in April. Man, I've never been on a cruise. I'm going with my sponsor, my 12-step sponsor. And I'm excited about that. I remember a time I would feel guilty to take a PTO day.
Yeah.
And I never enjoyed the PTO day because I'm so concerned about what's going to happen at work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It's Joel, the push to.
Yeah.
You earn
productivity.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And you said it.
Yeah.
You said it. Great.
Yeah.
That's how society has got us thinking about ourselves. And yet, sometimes we don't live long enough to even spend the money.
That's right.
Because we're so caught up on productivity. So, we got to take care of ourselves. And just breathe.
Yeah.
And I think that's really one of the biggest things, too, is like, Devetta, calm down. She's not going to change what you hollering at her. Just chill.
Yeah.
So I'm chilling. And I'm going to say this. It's the way that I respond to her now. Because she was so used to me.
Yeah.
And she was like, wait a minute, what's going on? Then she'll come in the room and say, Grandma, I really appreciate the way you handled that. You know what I mean? Because I used to respond totally different.
Yeah.
Now, like she was venting the other day, and so after she vented, I just got up and walked in the room. Then she came in there about 30 minutes later. Grandma, thanks for letting me vent. And the way you did that, you just got up and walked out. I really liked it. Yeah.
Because she remember the old you.
She remember the old me.
Man.
I'm taking phones.
Yeah.
I'm doing all kind of,
Yeah.
She got a Lake Michigan Credit Union account now.
Come on.
So I took her down there and got that open for her.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little first check, so she pay half of her cell phone bill. She's being responsible.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just one thing I wanted to ask about. Just I've known Cole for quite a few years now, and I know how dedicated he is. I want to hear a little bit more about, if we can talk about it. What it's like.
Yeah.
I don't have much line of sight into it, so I'm just curious about how does it feel when you're in that class? I mean, what are some of the things that you guys, as much as you can talk about it, but I just imagine it's a community.
When I first got on there, I was a little nervous and scared. Of course, it's new. But once I got on there, and Jean.
Yep. Miss Jean.
Miss Jean, her personality, everybody had their own personality.
Yeah.
Walk of life. There was a lot of vulnerability going on in there, and you were safe.
Yeah.
Cole listened a lot. He's a listener.
Yeah.
But when it came down to, adding something to the table, he did. Just seeing people come in for the first time that now you're not the new person no more.
Yeah.
So you got new people coming on and they're crying and they getting their stuff out and we like, yeah, we've been there.
Yeah.
Been there. It's a platform to just let go.
Yeah.
Let go. And he gives us that platform. It's been a while since I've been on.
Yeah.
But I brought some people, I think a young lady to
grandma.
Yep,
it's grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the parenting class, but it's just the comfortability of expressing our hurt. And of course, don't get me wrong, there was sometimes we shared some good stuff.
Yeah.
But, good accomplishments and stuff, even if it was about us.
Yeah.
But it was something. So I really appreciate that place. That was one of the biggest things that helped support me too, because it was new. And see, a lot of times people, the 12-step program don't understand a lot of stuff. It helped me to be okay. And then we got to the point where we got numbers of each other and called each other, supported each other. I know me and Jean talked on the phone. A couple of more of the ladies talked on the phone because we met only once a week.
Yeah.
So in them other 6 days, there's stuff going on.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And you want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And so that was a platform for that, for building relationships. And he gave us that. Yeah, most definitely. He also had people come on and speak to listen to our voices, see what we had to talk about. So that was a great opportunity. But that was really good for me. I really needed that.
And one of the things I thank you for is that because of those people that you allowed to come into that space, because I remember I'm like, hey, I really had to do work on the back end because I'm like, hey, you just can't come into this space because if you come into this space, I got to get permission because Miss Jean is not a joke. I mean,
that's right.
They held me accountable.
That's right.
But I think that because of that, because we had people come into that space, I mean, I've been a part of that juvenile justice task force. And now we've been able to see, the rollout and the bills being passed for juvenile reform. Ooh. So, I mean, it was literally opportunities where these folks were coming into our space, and it was you. It was Jean. It was all the other families that were there that opened up the doorway for, some of the folks on the higher levels to say, oh, we should probably be listening to parents. We should probably be hearing parents. And that started, and I mean, we were together for almost, a year?
A year.
Yeah. We were together for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you made that like possible, though.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't know any other place like that
Yeah.
in Grand Rapids. I didn't know a place where I can go and just vent like I did
Yeah.
when we got together like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hearing stories that I just wasn't by myself. My thinking was not abnormal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
Yeah. And then we met last year at the barbershop.
At the barbershop. For the first time in person. At the barbershop.
At the barbershop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this is the second time we're seeing each other physically.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's a fitting place to meet.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that the barbershop and hair salons, I mean, those are centers of our community.
That's so true.
Where a lot happens.
That's so true.
There's a lot of talk that happens between the barber and person getting their hair cut.
That's right. Relationship
building.
relationships.
Exactly.
That's right.
And making impact.
That's right.
Little things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 So I had to be here. He asked me.
Yeah.
Of course I can.
That's really
Appreciate
beautiful.
that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, for coming.
for having me.
And sharing time with us. I mean, it's an honor to have you here.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for listening. Check out our programs on the Delta Project's website, thedeltaproject.co, and be sure to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.